Thompson Vet here. Hope you're very well. This is The Gut Doctor, and we're going to be spending some time today talking about using herbs simply and easily and in a really fun way with our poultry. I'm going to just chat to you for a bit to allow people to come in. But isn't it glorious? This weather this week, it's Thursday, and we've had, a week or so of just the best weather. I'm here in just a t-shirt all winter. I have been wearing 3-4 layers when I'm presenting just to try and keep warm. So just taking the dogs out. I'm in my shorts, in my South African, that is relevant to a few slides time, in my South African farmers shorts, and even in flip-flops. Did you know that they in New Zealand they call flip-flops jandals, of all things? Don't ask me why, but that is what they call them. I've been there once, and that was the case. So welcome everybody. We are going to continue, and Laura is there in the background just making sure everything's working. And I think without any further ado, we're going to go over to the screen, and what we have to do is go like that. Oh no, we go like that. There we go. And then I'm going to stay here in this corner, and then we're going to go over like that to see that, and hopefully you can see this. You can see this image, and here's a picture of me with one of my lovely hens. We currently have 3. The most we've had over the time, when the foxes don't get them or things happen, is 6. But they're producing eggs beautifully, and everything. It's just great having them around. I love them. They're such fun. They eat all the scraps and things, and so it's a wonderful recycling. Laura says we're good, and we've got good sound and good audio and video, so we're all good to go. So herbs and chickens. So for me, and I just put it into the description, I think herbs and chickens go together like bread and butter. They go together like, whatever goes. I thought of another one, but now that I'm here, I can't think of it. Like cattle and grass. It's just a synergy that Mother Nature has been using for millions of years, and we ignore it at our peril. And the beauty is, it's just such an easy paradigm. Before we get into that, though, I'm just going to share with you, I've just come back from South Africa. Connor Brady and Brendan Clark and Anna Heim-Bjorkman and I were lecturing in Johannesburg for a couple of days, and then we went down to Cape Town, down in the southwest of the country, and those guys all went off on safari, but I used my spare time to go and see the Department of Animal Science at Stellenbosch University, and I spoke to the head of department there about some regenerative agriculture projects. They are what they're doing is they're running Dexter, these small cattle in between the vines, because Stellenbosch is a massive wine growing area, and what they're thinking is that if they can get it right, the cattle will keep the grass down, which means they need to use less pesticide and herbicide, and also that the cattle being between the rows of the vines will also have a fertilizing effect because of the pee and poo that they're going to provide in there. So it sounds like a wonderful combination, and they are just doing the trial in order to prove that there is a net benefit, a financial benefit, a welfare benefit, and maybe even benefit to the wine. They're doing that, and that was absolutely fascinating. The next day, Abri, who was the son of the people who were looking after us so beautifully, took me to again near Stellenbosch, and we went to see this amazing guy. He's called Angus McIntosh. Online, you'll find him as Farmer Angus, and he is Mr. Numero Uno for regenerative agriculture in South Africa, and he is just an absolute live wire. He wanders around his farm in bare feet. He's got thousands of chickens, and he's got cattle, and he's got pigs, and he doesn't use pesticides, he doesn't use antibiotics, and he's raising some absolutely fantastic, super happy chickens. He didn't chop the beak on that bird, by the way. That's the only way he can receive them, because he diverts them from going to the battery farms. So here he is. I'm hoping I can play a video of him.
My dream is eventually to get day olds. Well, eventually I want to breed my own, get them epigenetically adapted to the farm. Okay. So I'd use these hens, and I'll go and find roosters in the townships, these and then in what they call the Transkei, or these rural areas, these roosters that are just tough, and you use those guys with these hens, and you're going to get a proper breed. It's the sort. So we were getting them at 19 weeks of age. Every 16 weeks we're getting new hens, 4 cycles. So 83 weeks we would cull. Bird flu came along, and for an entire year we couldn't get any replacement hens. So our hens just had to get older. Typically, we would cover about 80-85 weeks. The production then is dropped to about 72%.
So you have like only in your life.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you talked about epigenetically there, adapted for the roosters, because I would have considered more it's important.
So there you go, guys. There's Farmer Angus with his chickens. The houses that you just saw, there was a line of maybe 6 of these semicircular houses. They are mobile, and what they do is they move them in a line every day so that the chickens have fresh grass to graze. And what was really surprising, I mean, there are thousands of the birds there, and they lay their eggs in the mobile egg houses. But what's really surprising is he said they graze the grass ferociously. Now that's I mean, my hens here will graze, but as there's only 3 to 6 of them, they don't make a big impact on the grass, which is unfortunate because it means that I have to cut the grass. But he was saying that they have a ferocious effect on the grass, which is part of the reason that they have to move them, but also they're going to be fertilizing, digging up the soil, and therefore regenerating that soil, putting carbon into the soil in order to increase soil depth for use for growing crops and for growing really strong grass on another year. So really exciting stuff. And Farmer Angus is the guy leading the charge in South Africa. Check him out. He's a really interesting guy. You can see him on YouTube. He's done lots of interviews and things. He's a no-nonsense guy, but very friendly, and he was very welcoming to us. So, Angus, if you're watching this, thank you, my friend, and look forward to seeing you again very soon. Let's just jump into the main topic for this evening. So we, I think, do not, and I'm as guilty as any, we do try and use them, but we don't use them as much. And I think we should use dried and fresh herbs in the feed, in the water, in the brooder area, in the nesting boxes where they're going to be laying eggs, in the dust bath. I'd never thought of that before, and also in the coop itself. So the examples that I would suggest that if we can use calming herbs in the nesting boxes, that's going to be very beneficial. And if hens getting broody, then maybe they're going to be less stressed if we can use calming herbs. We're going to talk about those calming herbs in a sec. If we can use insect repellent herbs throughout, especially in dust baths, my thought is dry herbs in dust baths to add an extra layer of defense for those chickens against mites and lice and these things that our chickens can sometimes get. It's got to be a good thing. And if you can create a really good dust bath, then you're going to have much healthier, happier chickens. So we're going to talk about that shortly. You can add herbs to the feed, which is a super obvious thing to do, but I'm not sure whether many people do it. I think we should, and that's why we're having this chat right now. Using garlic in the water is something I've never thought about, but doing research. And thank you again to our friends at Vermex for allowing me to put aside time to research this stuff so that I can share all the goodness to improve the quality of the eggs that your hens are producing and to give them a happier, healthier life, which really is the bottom line. So a bit of garlic for immune boosting effects, really good idea. And even using mint into ice cubes for the summer when it's hot, and it's not the summer yet, but it sure is hot. So this is really, really exciting stuff, methinks. So this is a nice illustration. You see it actually moves. I didn't do it. My friends at Insteading did it. Full kudos to them. And here we just have an example of planting next to the coop so that the hens can peck at these herbs. I think that the more exposure you can give to the birds of these herbs, then the better. If you can plant mint, sage, thyme, all these things around in the area, if at all possible, and as long as they don't demolish them, then I think that's got to be a good thing. If they are demolishing a thyme plant whenever you put it in, well, you can grow thyme in pots, and you just swap them in until they're somewhat depleted, and then swap them out with another. Then you put in some sage and some mint and what have you. So these things are doable, even if you have healthy organic soil and compost, and you're growing your herbs in those in order to put in and out of the coop. Hopefully, your birds have access to open the garden, pasture, weeds, grass, and what have you. But if you're in an area of restriction, we will talk about that shortly, then if they are confined to the coop, I think this is even more reason to get those birds exposed to a variety of herbs. This is a fantastic idea to allow them exposure to herbs. So it looks like they're growing herbs here. We're just looking in the background here, guys. They're growing herbs. The herbs are coming out through the slats of the pallet there, and they're protecting the herbs from complete demolishment by the hens by putting a little bit of mesh over the front. So I think that sky's the limit as regards how you deliver these herbs. For me, the idea of having to make one of those sounds like that's a bit of a hassle. So for me, I would be swapping in and out tubs of herbs if we can't allow them a much more free range environment. Some of the great herbs that we'd be thinking about trying to get them having exposure to, we've got basil and garlic and lavender, marigold, marjoram, mint, nasturtium, oregano. The Americans would say oregano, and with basil they say basil. What's right, what's wrong, doesn't really matter. Parsley and sage, absolutely fantastic. I always think of the song by Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme. So if you can't think what herbs to buy for your chickens, then you can always think of the song Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, and just buy plenty, so that they've always got access. I always think of herbs like this. It's a bit like grass, but turbocharged with these secondary metabolites, i.e. the essential oils and other phytochemicals, which are just wonderful for so many elements of raising chickens. We'll just have a look at a few of these for now. You're welcome to just read through these at your own speed. With basil, well known as an antibacterial and helps with mucous membrane health. And if we are trying to protect and help our birds against any respiratory viruses, then that's got to be a good idea. Again, garlic, it's very good for the immune system generally. It helps with circulation and is a laying stimulant. Didn't know that. So it's a laying stimulant and has profound antifungal effects. So what I'm going to suggest later is that we crush garlic and put it into the water system. We change it out every 2-3 days so that it doesn't get manky and rotten and what have you. But I think that's a really simple, cheap, easy way to just upregulate the immune system with your backyard chickens. Lavender is a calming herb, and therefore a stress reliever. It's because of its the aromatics there. It stimulates blood circulation and is an insecticide. Most of these very aromatic herbs have insecticidal properties as well. Have a look at those. Those are some of my favorites that you can use. This is the APHA, Animal Plant Health Agency, and because of what they call highly pathogenic avian influenza, why they have to put highly pathogenic in front of it, I don't know. Maybe it's not dangerous enough in and of itself. I'm not sure. I'm fairly cynical about these things. I do want the best welfare for the industry, and I do want the best welfare for those birds. The slightly darker pink areas going up the east coast of England and down the western side of England past Birmingham and down into Worcestershire there. Those are the areas that are affected where you have to keep your birds in coops. And I think anything you can do, any of the stress herbs that you can bring to bear for those birds, I think is a very, very good idea. It's interesting that avian flu seems to stop at the Scottish border. That's kind of an interesting, and the same at the Welsh border. Not quite sure what that's about, because as far as I know, the APHA is active in England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. I may be doing them a disservice, but from that map, it certainly looks like we've got some miraculous viral boundary when we're going into Scotland and Wales. But there we go. I'm going to leave that for you guys to ponder. I love this image. you've got the birds in the nesting boxes there, laying hens, and in the foreground you've got herbs hanging, drying to a certain extent, but imbuing the environment, the atmosphere inside that chicken coop with the herbs in that. Sorry, let me share that. Am I back? Did you lose me? Am I back? Hello. Can you see me? Laura, can you see me there? Yeah, I am back. Okay, sorry about that. I'll just go back to the slide that I think I lost you on, and we'll continue the story. I love this stuff. We'll just. Whoops! No, I need to go there. I'm in the corner. Hello, and we'll go back over there. And we're just talking about we're just talking about herbs in the coop. Okay, so we've got mint and lavender, oregano. God, I've been listening to too many American podcasts. And yarrow, we haven't mentioned yarrow. Yarrow is a wonderful, very old, very healing herb. It's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, clears the sinuses. Remember, respiratory viruses is very important. And very strong. So, if in doubt, yarrow is a wonderful herb to put in the food, to add to the environment for those hens. I think if you think, right, what do I hang up in the coop and what do I put in the food as, say, dried herbs? If it's highly aromatic, then you'd be thinking about putting it in the coop and in the food. But if it's not so aromatic, like parsley, for example, it's going to be more useful in the food than it is to be hung up, because it's not really going to contribute very much to the environment. Other herbs to look at in the coop, we've got bay leaves, lemon balm, lemongrass, rosemary, thyme, basil, catnip. All these aromatic, strong, if you like. If it smells of strong aromatics, then it's probably really good to put in that coop, as well as putting in the food, for example, or in the nesting box in the brooder areas, things like this. So this is good. I think if your birds don't have a dust bath, then make one. Yeah, it's very easy. You just use a bowl, an old washing up bowl, or some shallow tray, and you can put dirt or sand or diatomaceous earth in there in order to give some kind of a dusty kind of base. If you're using diatomaceous earth, it's best to use the not too finely porous stuff. It's better to use the food grade doesn't cost the earth, and your chickens will be very beneficial. Diatomaceous earth in and of itself is very anti-parasitic, lice and mange and things like that, and so is very beneficial. Using wood ash, fire ash. So if you've got a wood burner, you can use the ash there in your dust bath. But also, what we do is we'll often put ash below, say, an apple tree or under trees in order to help with putting nutrients back into the soil, and then the birds can then go and help themselves to that little pile of ash and create their own dust bath. If there is a dust bath that you've created or they've created, you can add, say, something like lavender, aniseed, dill, fennel, ginger, mint, and to that dusty area, and that will enhance the protective effect of that beautiful dust bath. Some people use dried wormwood. It's a very potent anti-parasitic, and again, our friend yarrow is making a comeback there. So it's not something that I've ever thought of before, but I must talk to Vermex to say, why don't we create a dried herb mix that you can add to the dust bath for your birds? Isn't that a genius idea? Though I say it myself, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I must talk to it. Laura, please remind me to talk to the guys. I think it would just be lovely if you could put, once a week, twice a week, especially during the summer when it's more dry, when dust baths really work well. You could put the insecticidal herbs, the calming herbs. If your birds are in and they're getting a bit stir crazy, I think there's a lot of potential there for adding herbs to dust baths. These are some of the herbs that we might think of: the nesting box, lavender, mint, lemongrass. Absolutely great. I love that picture. There's something very peaceful about that picture. What we use in the nesting box, by the way, here, just outside Bath, we are using, not that makes any difference, but I just thought I'd give you some geographical context. In the nesting boxes, we use sawdust. If I'm doing loads of chainsawing, we'll get sawdust, and we can use that, because sawdust, especially if it's from pine or the more aromatic woods, has an antibacterial effect. Also, you can kind of just scoop it out like cat litter, whereas straw is not quite so amenable. So we like to use wood. What's it called? Shavings and sawdust, which we find very, very useful, and the birds seem to like it. It's really comfortable. It's really insulating, so it's a great thing to use. If we're putting herbs into the water, then we'd be thinking garlic, basil, parsley, oregano, and even dandelion. Dandelion, he says, looking out the window, the dandelions are in full force, ruining my lawn. I have learnt to live with it. Okay, I was getting quite upset many years ago that my lawn, which is not much to talk about because I've got dogs and children and all sorts, was getting attacked, as it were, by dandelions. And now I just think, great, it's really good, and I now know that the dandelions are fantastic for bees, providing a source of early energy to bees, so that they can get in through the rest of the spring and then into summer. So I have not got a problem with dandelions, and if there are dandelions there, you can pick them and you can put them into the food, or you can make kind of a dandelion tea, something like that. Okay, so the two obvious way. So you can brew a tea in the kitchen, let it cool, and then put it out for the birds. You can leave all the bits in there and they can help themselves, as this little hen is doing with that bowl of that beautiful tea that someone's made. Or, as I say, smashing the garlic cloves and then just putting them into the water when you fill the watering what would you call the water source for them. You just put some garlic in there. We've got 3 to 6 hens, and so we've got one which is probably about 4 liters, 5 liters. In that something that size, I would be putting maybe 2 or 3 large crushed garlic cloves. Dead easy. You have to change it every few days anyway, so you just change those. You can always put the garlic out for them to eat if they fancy. All very, very healthy. If you can't grow or get hold of any herbs, then Vermix do. This is the poultry zest, which is very good to help with recovery from molting. Contains aniseed, turmeric, ginger root, and fenugreek. Fabulous, really useful. Been around for years, and a lot of people give us great feedback with the poultry zest. A more general product is the Keep Well, which you can use as a daily supplement. And the beauty of both products is that there's no withdrawal. So you're enhancing immunity, you're provoking better welfare, better digestion, better plumage, and because there's no drugs involved, you don't need to withdraw the eggs. And as with Vermix, for our chickens, you can allow the children to be part of the regime of maintaining them to be worm free. So there you go. The Keep Well, tansy, ginseng. So tansy is anti-parasitic. Ginseng keeps them strong. Garlic is good for the circulation and it's anti-parasitic as well. Nettles is circulation, immunity. Minerals, cinnamon. The Chinese talk about cinnamon as an envoy herb. It just takes any other herbs in the mix and gets them to where they need to be by helping with circulation. And echinacea is good for general immunity, but in particular, we've got helping with respiratory immunity. So there we go, guys. That's about it for today. I didn't want to keep you away from spending your evening in the sunshine, although it's getting a little cloudy just now. If you're interested in learning about herbal medicine in general, this is pretty much the Bible as far as I'm concerned. I'll come back to you in a second and I'll show you my copy. That's the book. It's called Veterinary Herbal Medicine by Susan Wynne, who's brilliant, and Barbara Fougere, who's also brilliant. Susan Wynne is an American nutritionist, and Barbara Fougere is an American holistic no, she's an Australian holistic vet and herbalist extraordinaire. She really is very, very, very clever, and she's great to talk to. And finally, this is my girls, 2 of my girls, who I found helping me in my work last year when I was writing lectures and writing notes and things. They like to just sit there and watch me do my thing. So there we go. Love them to bits, as I'm sure you do with your chickens, your hens, and there you go. We're done. Really, really good. I'm pleased to have been able to share that information with you. I'll come back to you here. Ba-ding. And let me get rid of the hide all shown. There we go. We'll get rid of that. So we just got a little bit more space. And I'm going to get rid of that one there. Hello, everybody. So this is the Win in Fougere. This is my copy. It's maybe 20 years old. It's brilliant. It's not. There's nothing specific really about poultry. There's one or two mentions, but it is a course in and of itself. And the back section here is just a catalogue of telling you about herbs. It goes through just every significant herb you can think about, and gives you how it's been used historically in cattle, in horses, in small animals. A really, really wonderful way to study. Yeah, I know one vet who started at the beginning and worked her way right the way through, and she was absolutely red hot. By the time she'd finished, she was so on the ball with her herbal knowledge. Then so that was that. Let's have a wee look. And so Laura, what does she say? I should check these before I put them up, but I won't. I do trust you. I went to an organic wine farm in Italy last year, and they had chickens roaming in the vineyard. Brilliant. So we now know that chickens will really get on top of the grass, which is great. Saves you having to take tractors down there or use nasty pesticides. So that's brilliant, and they will fertilize really beautifully. So nice observation there, Laura. That's brilliant. Let's see what Tina has to say. Tina says, I have 3 beautiful hens. Of course you do. They have access to sage, lavender, bay, rosemary, and they tend not to eat loads of it. Yeah, but you don't need that much. But have totally stripped my raspberries. There you go. They will, zoo pharmacognosy says they will go for what they need. So you're doing great with the sage, lavender, bay, and rosemary. I would broaden that out as much as you can. Hopefully this evening has just inspired you a tiny bit in that suggestion. Sasha says, bless you, except when you have the fuzziest hens in Wales. Sasha, keep going. You will find something they want. Yeah, it may be off the beaten track, but I must have given you 20 suggestions today. And if they won't eat them, then stick them in the coop, make a tea, get some garlic in the water. I'm sure you can get some herbs in them one way or another. Okay, so that's fabulous. Louise has been with us. Jeanette has been with us. That's great. And Louise says, very little on the market for chickens, with a picture of cats, but not quite sure what you're looking for there. But if you're looking for herbs, any herbs will do. Either fresh herbs from the supermarket or from the garden, or dried herbs from the supermarket, or that you've dried from the garden would do. So you can get these things. Jeanette says, let's have a look. She is saying, in Denmark, the Danish Food Authority is warning against using ashes for dust bathing because of dioxin. Well, yeah. Do you know, Jeanette, the largest repository of dioxin on the planet? The answer is human fat deposits, because it's water insoluble, it's fat soluble, and it just recycles around humans who live quite a long time, and therefore they're able to cycle a lot, and then it's recycled at death into the environment, unfortunately. So there is dioxin around because of the foolhardy use of these things during the 60s. Silent Spring by Rachel Carson is the depressing book to read of the use of dioxin. They were spraying it around like water at the time. They didn't really know or didn't want to know, they were going like this, that it was fantastically toxic, and they were using it everywhere, as I have no doubt, glyphosate in 50 years' time, they'll be saying glyphosate. Can you believe they sprayed it on fields? But there we go. Let's have a look. Just the last one. Claire with an I has said, Michael's, here you go. Obliterate lavender, sage, oregano, and other herbs. Great. I have Brahma, Wyandotte RIRs, and a cream. Ooh, get you with the fancy chickens there. They usually break into the veg pack and eat all the goodies there too. Good. Vernex product. Oh, this is good. I didn't even know you were going to say that. Vermix are great. That's great. Crushed garlic into the water. Well, I think you get a big gold star, Claire, for your the amount of excellent work that you're doing with your girls there. Excellent. I'm really really proud of you. Well done, you. Okay, guys, I'm done. I'm gonna go and sit. It's warm outside. It was sunny when I was out with the dogs, but now it's not quite so. But it's all good. I'm going to go. I don't want to detain you any longer. It's great to talk to you. The next time we are on is about 3 weeks' time. From memory, I think it's the 22nd of May. It's that third Thursday in May. Be here. We haven't decided what we're going to be talking about quite yet. If you've got any burning topics that you want us, then please do get in touch with Vermex and give them a shout, and we will put those on the list so that we make sure that we cover the topics that you want to cover. Anything to do with gut and anything to do with herbs, we will go at it with great alacrity. Brilliant. Great. We'll take Claire off there. I'm going to say goodnight. It's great to speak to you, to have 40 minutes without Connor and Brendan to just talk about herbs and health. So absolutely fantastic. Really, really great. Again, I'm going to go. That's about the 6th time I've said it. I am going to go this time. I wish you love, and I wish you luck, and I wish you health, and I look forward to speaking to you. I think it's in about 3 weeks' time. Let's do it.